I remember that night so clearly. The sky was dark, and there was no star in sight. I stood in my living room, which was also dark, looking out through my blue sheer curtains. I'd been standing there for a while, for how long, I couldn't remember. But my heart was so heavy, heavy as lead. And it was so black, so dark as the night. I knew it was coming, but I had to just postpone it for as long as I could. And all I had to do was breathe in and out, slowly, in and out, in and out, just postponing it. And then it descended on me with such a brutal force, it shook my existence. The pain was so heavy that I wish I could take something to numb the pain. My legs shook, and I leaned on the wall for some support. My lips started quaking, and I beat it to stop it from shaking, and I felt the burning in my eyes, the salt. And I knew I was going to start crying, so I shut my eyes so I can shut my tears back in there. I just wanted them to stay in there, but too late. They started flowing down my cheeks slowly, and then fast and furiously. And then my knees gave way, and I felt so weak, and I just leaned on the wall, and I slid on the floor, and I fell there in this heap of messy, painful emotion. And I picked up my phone because I needed to speak to my friend. She was the most sensible friend I still have. And I called her. And as the phone rang, I looked around me and at myself in this dark room, and I wondered, how did I end up here? You see, a few weeks before, the man who I was seeing decided it was over. It was not a surprise because the SMS messages were not being replied, the phone calls were not being picked up or returned. But here we were, sitting across from each other at a table, and he was trying to tell me in a very polite, diplomatic way that this was not working for him. And when I finally understood that it was over, I had such a visceral, physical reaction that I mustered enough strength to get up, run out of the room into the toilet, on my knees, head inside the toilet bowl, and I vomited everything I had for lunch. This must be what it feels like, I thought to myself, to have your heart rejected and broken at the same time. I had read them in Meals and Boons and Harlequin romances and pretty much every book Daniel Steele had written, but this is how it felt to have your heart broken into a million little pieces. Listen, my friend said, snapping me out of this reverie. We just need a strategy. Now me, I'm a businesswoman. You say strategy or profits, I'm listening. I said, uh-huh. She said, you need to decide what you want. If you want him back, we will come up with a strategy. Men are simple creatures, fickle. Short skirt, tight dress, high heels, box. Alternatively, you can decide that you don't want him back. And we can also come up with a strategy on how you can get over him. God knows, magazines have been written, books, Oprah Winfrey, all of them there. And so I took her words and I went to sleep. And I woke up in the morning and I lay on my bed and I stared at the ceiling and I thought and I stared at the ceiling and I thought and I stared at, and this went on for about 2 hours. And then I knew that I had it. I had the solution. You see, if you took all my exes and you put them in a line, okay, there are not that many, but if you put them in a line here, this here, if you just, they can fit here in this red carpet here. If you took my exes and you lined them up, and you tried to determine the one thing they had in common, that would be me. I was the common denominator. And so I figured if there was a change that was going to take place, it was going to have to be with me. I had to change. So how was I going to change? I'd read in a book somewhere, another business book, that if you want to change your company or your business, you just have to change one habit. Pick one thing and change it, and things will change. So I said, okay, I'm going to stop waking up at 6 o'clock and going to work. I'm going to start waking up at 4 a.m. and reading a book. I don't know why I made that decision, but I did. And so with that bright idea, I jumped out of bed, went about my day, came home, slept. 4 a.m., my alarm clock went, I was up. Turned on the light, looked around. Okay, what's going to happen now? And so I looked at my bedside table. My Bible was there. It had gathered some dust. But underneath it was a book a friend had recommended. I bought it because she insisted, and she kept on saying, have you bought it? Have you bought it? I just needed to say next time, yes, I bought it. And so I took the book, and I opened the first page, and I started reading it. And 3 months later, when I was done, my life was never the same again. You see, what people did not know, and what possibly you don't know, is what motivated me to do what it is that I did. Why did I work so hard? Why did I start a company and build it? And why was I chasing success so desperately? Why did I work harder and faster and smarter and stronger than everyone else? Why did I do this? My motivation was simple. I just wanted people to love me and to accept me. And so with every TV show that I produced, every movie that we made, every headline that we grabbed, every award that we won, every Twitter, every retweet, every Instagram double tap, every Facebook like, was just me wanting people to approve of me, to like me, to accept me. And so with every success that I came across, everything that I did, I got the hand claps and the accolades and the pats on the back, and that to me was people accepting me. And I knew that had to stop. It took the end of a relationship and me sitting on a pile on the floor, a complete mess, to realize that that had to stop. Because incidentally, this is what was happening in my personal life. I had this bottomless hole in my heart, and I wanted someone to love me and love me and love me. I wanted a knight in shining armor, on a white horse, or preferably a white Range Rover Sport supercharged, to sweep me off my feet and to save the day and to tell me that they loved me and that the sun rose and set out of my ears. And that had to stop. I had to stop looking for love outside. I had to look for love inside me. It had to come from inside me. Self-love, that's what they called it. But I didn't even understand what that meant, what it looked like, what it was. You know, if self-love came to me in the form of a big red bus and parked right in front of me, I wouldn't know. Because for 30-something odd years, that's how I lived. But I knew that it had to change. I just didn't know how. And you know, Oprah stopped airing her shows. Someone once said that the illiterate people of the 21st century are not people who cannot read or write, but people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And so to me, unlearning, learning, and relearning came in the form of a very, very simple yet important exercise. I had to learn how to love my own company. I had to learn how to enjoy my own company. Now, that sounds simple or simplistic to some of you, and to some of you it even comes naturally. But not to me. You see, as I was growing up, my father was a busy man. And so he was either out working or out with his friends. Or if he was in the house, he would be on his chair. You know the chair that African fathers have? And he would sit back and put his feet on the stool, which has a cushion underneath. And he would read his book in silence or watch TV, and we wouldn't even say a word. And he wouldn't say a word back to us. And so the moments that he spent with us, those few moments that he spared for me and my siblings, they were the most precious moments for me in my life. They meant that he loved me. He spent time with me, so he loved me. And so what I did is I carried that with me into my teenage years, to my 20s, into my early 30s. If you liked to hang out with me, then you loved me. That's what I told myself. If you spent time with me, if you enjoyed my company, never mind if I enjoyed yours or not, you loved me. You see, as children, we are taught how to respect other people. We are taught how to be honorable. We are taught how to be loving. We are taught how to be kind. We are taught how to be good to other people. We are taught how to love other people. But the one thing we're never taught as kids, and we don't teach our children, is that the single most important relationship that they will ever have is a relationship with themselves. We don't teach them how to love themselves, which means we set them up for hardships for the rest of their lives. I really don't care what anyone says, but I really believe we cannot have a balanced relationship with anyone, your business partner, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or even your job, if you don't have a healthy and loving relationship with yourself. So what's love got to do with it? Well, everything. Because in a society that profits from your and my self-doubt. Loving ourselves unapologetically and unequivocally is a rebellious act. Thank you.